We're live.
We're live. This is Gina
Taylor.
and our good friend
Cheryl.
Cheryl's like, do I say
She's
my
like,
own name? I don't even know.
I wasn't versed in
Welcome to the neighborhood today.
practice.
We're going to talk about the confidence factor in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are wondering, we talked about this last week after our show that we never really explained why there's a trolley
Oh, yeah.
that we're riding. Now, most people would know, right? When you're saying the neighborhood, then you hear ding, ding.
Well,
trolley.
and I'm even thinking like just trolleys go through neighborhoods back in the good old days, trolleys go through. She's doing it to even like a specific
It's like
reference.
Mr. Rogers'
It's Mr. Rogers.
neighborhood.
Surprise.
I love Mr. Rogers.
And so
Fred
it's
Rogers.
like,
I know it's too early for favorite things, but if you still haven't listened to Finding Fred, the best 10-part series, 10 episodes, Finding Fred podcast. So good. And it just reinforces what an amazing man he was. But anyway, that's why we always say jump on the trolley, and you hear the trolley coming through the neighborhood to pick us up. And so last week
we get a little animated with it, and we're like, get on the trolley, Dawn. And then afterwards, she's like, do you think people know why
there's anybody going, why are they saying there's a trolley?
Also, before we were on video, it was like we had this whole, we could act it out and be like, she's falling off. Oh no. But now it's like, we're on video.
They kind of know.
It's a little less animated.
Quick update for those of you who care.
Which is all of you.
All of you. We know you care. Bailey, the Shreklet, is in the hospital right now as we are speaking. And why are we not there?
Don't.
She won't let us.
She won't let us speak. Don't.
Taylor's very bothered by this.
No, I didn't want her to bring this up, Bailey.
I know.
I didn't want her to bring this up.
But you know what, Bailey? She wants to just be alone, her and her husband. And you know what? I honor that. And I'm like, whatever, girl. I got a podcast to do.
This is classic. Actually, the best is when Piper, her first baby, was born last year. Someone came in the day after she was born, or the day she was born, or something like day after, and she's like, "Congrats! I heard the news." And you're like, "Yeah, I wrote a book." And I was like, "Oh wow, that just says a lot about her life." She's like, "Congrats."
Oh, you mean it's about other people?
My book I wrote instead of my daughter who had a baby.
She didn't just have Piper.
Literally the day before.
What book?
Or like you launched something because you're like, yeah, I know it's exciting. And I was like, she means the baby.
So Bailey, I mean, it was funny because I went back and the podcast episode before we went on hiatus was you and Bailey. Wow.
Just us while the cat's away.
The mice went astray. And they, I know. Yeah, they were out of control. But you guys were talking about Bailey was pregnant with Piper. So Piper is now 1.5 years. So it was 1.5 years ago that we had done the audio podcast, and now we just launched it again and in video, adding video. So fun.
Yeah, I know.
And so here we are.
And Cheryl does speak.
She does speak.
We just are overwhelming.
My turn's coming.
It's coming. You know what?
Jump in whenever.
Now. You jump in here. But we're going to start out with a few bits of business news. We're waiting on the trolley, but our trolley driver is asleep at the wheel.
Trolley driver's distracted. I'll tell you that.
She's distracted because her sister's in labor and won't let her come. So
I didn't tell her to bring this up. If you're watching right now.
Okay, first of all, there are new emojis. Every year, new emojis get released into the wild, which is interesting. The whole process.
Isn't there a voting process?
It's a whole voting process. And you have to get together with Android designers, Apple designers, all these people, tech people have to get together to discuss what are the emojis that were recommended to be released. And then they have to see, can they be created in all the different formats, because Androids look a little different. And there's actually a science to the creation of emojis. But some of them that are coming out
I have bones to pick with emojis.
Well, that might be one of the emojis being released, is bones being picked.
No, they already have bones.
Do they?
Yeah.
Emojis, I don't always know what they mean.
I know.
Oh, that's cute. And I send
and then
it,
there's
and it
something
does not
dirty.
Mean what I intended.
And you do have to be careful. You have to look it up. And there are sites that we used to have to when we did social media management. We had to look up the meanings before using them because of that reason.
Where can you find that information?
I want to say it's Emojipedia.
Yeah,
it's like Emojipedia.
Oh, Google it.
Yeah.
Oh, Google.
Or nowadays, guess what? Google search is down 50%. So it's now everyone's asking ChatGPT.
Really?
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah. So
Is
you
that
just,
why Google's pushing really hard for the Gemini AI thing?
yeah. I
to get
mean,
the-
they're
Yes.
really. I mean,
It's down
everybody's in the
50%.
50. Not down 50%. It's down to 50%. It used to be Google had 60% of all
Oh,
search.
okay.
Now they're down to 50% of all searches done on Google. But when you think about it, you do a Google search and there's so many results. And then you're like, oh, these are sponsored. You're scrolling to see
How do I
what's
trust
real.
ChatGPT?
Yeah. But now people are just asking ChatGPT, which is
Well, where are they
interesting.
getting the information?
But maybe you're asking things like, how do you make great enchiladas?
yeah, but where
I
are
can
they
tell
getting
you.
the
Yeah,
information?
you would
Great
know.
enchiladas.
Yeah.
She's the salsa
She
queen.
cans
I'm
her
learning
own
some
salsa.
things already about.
I should have brought it for us to eat it while
Oh, we could
were-
have.
But I don't have headphones on, so it
So
wouldn't
she
bother
can't
me.
hear.
She used to do all the ASMR really close, and I hate
I think she's already had a margarita to
Yeah.
go with the salsa.
You think it's Coke, but it's not.
these two. This is why we separated them. This is why I'm in the
Okay,
middle.
so emojis. So here's some of them that are coming out. In honor of the shirt I am wearing,
Beets.
beets are going to be an emoji.
Okay,
Why do we need
the
a
vegetable
beet?
Here's
beets?
why I tell you
Yes.
why. Here's my theory.
Why?
Because of the phrase "beat your face,"
What is
which
that?
I've
means
not
Oh,
even heard
putting
that.
makeup on.
putting a bunch of makeup on.
You beat your face.
If you put a bunch of makeup on, it's like, oh,
gotta go
girl,
beat
I
my
gotta
face.
go beat my face.
Yeah.
And it's a weird
That
saying.
is a
That
weird
is
saying.
a weird saying.
that is a I
Hmm.
don't think it's a Gen X saying. I think it's a millennial saying because that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but
And you know what? It's in our millennial deck of cards that we had.
beat your face.
We have a deck of cards that was like beat your face, and we're like, what does that mean? Putting on
so
a lot of makeup.
maybe that.
Maybe.
Otherwise,
So now if you're
Beat it.
running late, you can put a beat and
And
a
a
little
face.
face. That
I'm
means
beating
I'm-
my face.
And then
which I hate
dad will
saying.
go, I have no idea what
And
mom
he'll be
just
like,
sent me.
I'm
but
coming over right
she's
now
eating
to beat them
beets.
up.
She's eating beets.
She's at the grocery store
I'm
buying
gonna
buying
beets.
beets, and she's
beat
happy
you up.
about it. Yeah. So beets are one of them. A dead tree is one of them. Why? Global warming, perhaps?
Maybe.
Maybe. But
Mm.
it's weird. Some of them that you go, why are they adding that? And then exhausted. Isn't there already an emoji for exhaustion? But
Tired.
yeah,
There's a
tired.
bunch of tired
But there's going to be
ones.
one with bags under the eyes, and it's going to be representing. exhaustion. If you had to create an emoji and you want to say, get this one made, what would you want?
They're coming out with an exhausted?
Yeah.
Because there's already three. One's
I
asleep,
know.
one's yawning with their hand over their mouth, and one's going like this.
Well, none of
So-
those seem exhausted.
How about get to the point? Have you ever gotten
Oh.
a text and they bury the lead, like in journalism, and it takes you 5 minutes to figure out what they're trying
What
to
they're
say?
trying to say. So
Get
the
to the
whole thing
point.
of, so how would you, what
How would you
would
do
be the
that
emoji? Cut like
Scissors.
a knife going like this. Or I guess that's
Oh
too
no,
gruesome.
maybe that's
Oh,
not
That's
so
probably
good.
not good for you.
No,
Maybe just like somebody going like this. Like
or maybe
cut.
somehow shorten.
Those are all good
Maybe
words, Cheryl.
this is why we are not on the
There's
emoji
so-
creation team.
I know this is why. Because I mean it
Many-
is interesting when you think of
Random. ones.
random. There's lots of random
Wow.
emojis. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a sufficient amount of them. Give me a few different colored dogs. They're all blonde. I feel like that's
The
breedist.
dogs? A breedist.
Yeah.
But a breedist.
But I'm here for it. I just feel like we have too many random ones in the random section, like the far right one, and you're
Yeah.
like,
What does
what
that
are all
mean?
these symbols
Yeah.
and who's using this? I want to report on how many are there emojis that like never get used.
Oh, that would be really
literally
interesting.
never get used.
What are the least used emojis?
Yeah.
And do they suddenly disappear? Nobody knows.
Yeah, because that would be a way to like measure KPIs for emojis if
Let's start a
True.
business.
Yeah.
okay,
KPI, emojikpi.com.
.com.
Get the domain. Another piece of news. Every week I feel like there's something that dies off into the ether.
Oh, sad.
We had Tupperware parties, RIP.
Apparently I ruined that.
Millennials ruined that. And now Kmart, hello, Blue Light Special, the last Kmart store closed.
I didn't
Have you
even
ever
know they
been-
were.
I
I
know.
have been
Have you been to a Kmart?
to a Kmart. There was one in
I
Fort
have.
Collins like a decade ago.
So when you think about the genius of Kmart, because
What-
here's a
why?
marketing tip. Kmart used to do the blue light
I
special.
remember
Yeah.
that. I remember
And
the
they
that.
store.
would, all of a sudden, somewhere in the store, there'd be a blue light spinning, and they would say, attention shoppers, for the next 5 minutes.
No.
In the men's underwear department, there is a blue light special. They are $3. And everybody would look around the store. You're looking for the blue light.
And you're
you
like,
would
I don't
run to
even
it.
need men's
I don't
underwear.
even need it, but guess what? You
But
would
they
buy
were
them.
$3.
They were $3, and you knew where they were because of the blue light. what I love about that is how do businesses create scarcity to drive sales? And we
Is
talk
it
about that.
scarcity or is it just like a surprise benefit?
Well, it's kind of like a pop-up
marketing
sale. It's a
tactic.
marketing tactic.
I know, but it's like scarcity can be like exclusive or like, which is great,
Well, I
is
mean,
great.
it lasts for 5 minutes. When the blue light goes off, sorry, your underwear, $25.
It's like you want to make people be around your site all the time, just in case.
Just in case.
Something.
Well, I do
happens.
think when people run, if you're selling tickets, if you're even giving away tickets to an event, if you're selling a course, if you're doing some promotion, there should always be a deadline and early bird sales.
like first 20 get.
Yeah. And guess what?
Something
I think
with
we
it.
should put a blue light next to it just for people to kind of guess what is that about. Blue light special.
Were you
Bring it
Maybe-
back.
Maybe we do
Yeah.
a blue light and we're like, the class is happening right now
A class is happening here at the
at
village.
the Open Air
Yeah.
Academy.
Oh, I'm excited because we have a woman who's going to start teaching some improv fun
Cool.
stuff. Yeah, she was really cool.
Sign me up.
I know.
know.
Business improv. Yeah,
Ooh.
so it'll be fun. But I was thinking of that today with her going, oh, we need to make it scarce. Like you can only have 18 seats,
Hmm.
not 20,
12,
18.
15.
Yeah. So anyway, I got choked up about Kmart, RIP.
I didn't know they still were around.
I know.
And why did they go out of business?
I mean, think about it. Who's shopping at Kmart?
I mean, what was different than that then? Like what was
Walmart
Walmart
tanked 'em
versus
and
like
Amazon tanked 'em.
Marshalls or like TJ Maxx?
Who goes
or
to Marshalls? TJ Maxx and Marshalls are going to be RIP pretty soon. That's
People
my prediction.
love them.
I know.
I
Although-
will be sad. How will I decorate my house?
See?
Amazon people.
No, it's not
No.
as cheap.
Is it
It's not
not?
as cheap.
And not as good. You
Yeah.
don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
I'm a physical person.
And
Okay.
touch it
Is
before
TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods,
Yes.
They're all owned
all
by the
owned by
same.
so they just
Yes.
moved from one store down to the
Yes.
next.
Yes.
And is
Yeah.
Kohl's in that mix as well? I feel like Kohl's is in with one of them.
I'm not
don't know,
certain, but,
but-
now they're half beauty. At least the one in Lone
Kohl's
Tree.
is?
They have that big Sephora.
Both of us are like,
They
Kohl's?
took out a whole bunch of clothing
They put
line
Sephora in a Kohl's.
and a big Sephora in the middle of the Lone Tree Kohl's.
She is spilling some tea right now.
Wow.
Somebody asked me the other day, why does everybody say spilling tea? I was like, I do not even
I
know where that
don't know,
came from.
But I picked
But
up
you're-
what you put down
I,
there.
I'm picking
Do
up
you
what you're
think
putting
it's like
down.
this where it's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you something.
I have to say
and
something.
you're
and it
so and
spilled.
it just spills and you're like, whatever. Anyway,
spilled some
did
tea
you
over this.
hear?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
did that with
Or
you
you're
the
just
other day. Remember?
Drinking
Ooh,
tea.
yeah,
story.
yeah. I know. I really want to get to what you do, but
I know.
not yet. What's your
Okay.
other
Yeah.
news?
So yeah, that's
I'm gonna,
that.
pull
Those
the,
are,
I'm gonna
I'm-
call the trolley soon.
part of my business news I have to save for my favorite thing because it's gonna
It-
blow your mind.
Yeah.
The AI.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
AI
Nope.
tool.
Not the giant owl.
Okay. I saw on Instagram a woman holding a giant owl.
Like this big.
oh, it was big around like this.
A
like
real
this
owl?
big.
Ah,
Well,
it was,
She
it
sent
was.
it to my dad.
It was
and
real.
like,
it was
"Look
real,
at
people.
this
I
owl."
saw it on the internet.
This girl's holding it. It's blinking, and I'm like, "Are we sure that's real?" Because
said,
being the
"Yes."
junior naturalist and the person who went to college for wildlife, I was like, "That's not real. Like that can't be real." However, there was a penguin. Oh, this is my favorite thing. So never mind. Okay,
But I
but
did think it was
I was
real.
like, Mom, the caption literally says #AI.
And then that just burst my bubble. That burst my bubble. I was like, oh, dang it.
giant.
People, don't be fooled by news today because
I know it's
I fell for
terrifying.
the giant
Your
owl.
favorite thing and
Oh,
that owl
But this favorite
scare
thing,
me a little bit.
it is scary and it's amazing. So I'm
Excuse
excited.
me.
I'll save it. I'll save it. So as soon as the trolley gets here, we can get on and
Oh, now you're upset about the trolley. She's like, hold on, make it
hold
make
on.
it stop. And now I can't really hear it.
I know it is interesting. Today we're trying to go without headsets.
It's her hair.
I had that thought when you asked me to do it and went, oh, I'm going to do my hair and then I
Yeah.
have to wear the headset.
I love
That's
them.
Video. I'm telling you, it kills us. But
Yes.
let's drive to the neighborhood. We're gonna go by Cheryl's house, and we're gonna Cheryl's home.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. Cheryl and I met. Did we meet before the women's chamber event?
We met at
I mean, it was a
a
chamber,
after hours event.
but I mean, did we
yes.
meet before that?
briefly, but
feel
we
like we
really
did.
didn't connect before that.
Right.
We met previously, but did not connect.
Okay.
There's a
Well, we sat
difference.
next to each other at a after hours South Metro Denver chamber event, which I'm telling you, I've never been a fan of chambers, but I am loving South Metro Denver chamber. It's actually been
Awesome.
very
And
good.
you've been a part of a few.
I've been a part of a few,
Yeah.
and I'm really enjoying, being there and meeting people. And I sat down next to you, Cheryl, and right away I came back going, I need to know her better.
Business
She's my
bestie.
BBF. Yeah, business bestie.
And I felt the same way.
Yeah, there was this like love
And
connection.
then she passed a note that said, "Do you like me or do you like me?" Circle one. And
Circle
then
one.
she circled one.
Yeah.
And then we got caught.
And then she moved in here.
Long story short, I am now a resident.
She moved in an office right down here.
Yep.
But Cheryl, okay, so many things I love about you, but the most intriguing thing is tell us about your business, Bio One. What is Bio One?
Denver
Yeah.
is a business that specializes in biohazard decontamination.
Like
What does that even mean?
When you
Wow.
look at her, what part of this pink beauty says biohazard?
and
That's
white
cleanup.
bunny suit and double gloves and booties and respiratory protection.
I mean, in nature, the brightest animals are the most toxic.
I'll own that.
Okay, that is actually a good fact.
That's a great
That's
fact.
a great fact.
Poison
know
dart
that.
frogs.
Poison dart frogs.
Yeah,
that's true.
certain bugs, plant species.
The brightest ones are often
Yeah,
most
like they
poisonous.
have really bright colors because it's a warning to predators that are like, I'll probably poison you. So
Wow, sure.
Yeah.
Love it.
that's why you wear bright colors, because people are like, she's gonna poison
She's
you.
gonna poison me, but you know what? When she does,
Yeah.
their team will come and clean it up.
Yep.
We will clean it up.
Like, what kind of things do you get called to do?
We get called to do a number of different things, and just when we think we've seen it all, something else comes along.
That's so crazy.
In general, if I were to categorize it, so a crime scene or a trauma scene, which doesn't necessarily result in a death, but there's body fluid to clean up. And I'm going to keep it real soft
Yeah,
here. And,
yeah.
and
Even
If
though
you
we're
wanna
like,
know
tell
more,
us
you just have
more.
to
And
come
pull
in and
back.
ask her.
You have to just come back. You have to come sit in here, have a good cup of tea, and sit with Cheryl for a while.
well, and I'm very, as I've said to you before, another day, I'm very protective
Yeah.
of the families, the clients we serve, but just, there's generalities that
Right.
we can share. More suicide cleanup than I'd like there to be.
That's so sad.
And then, people pretty much behind what we do, people are not okay.
Yeah.
From all of those things to hoarding. And did you know there's 5 different levels of hoarding?
No.
And too much stuff because I'm a
It's like
collector,
Dante's Inferno.
but it's all, all organized doesn't mean you're a hoarder.
Oh,
There's actually 5
So I'm not a
clinical
hoarder.
levels of hoarding.
so there's collectors.
Collectors,
What's 5 of them? What's the lowest?
know them?
I want
No,
to
I
know
know.
if
No,
I
but
fall
like
into one.
5 different categories or levels where you're like, oh, you're just a level 1 hoarder.
Yeah, level 1,
level
level 5. There's 5 levels.
Okay,
I'll say
okay.
5 levels. And it has to do with the degree of, first of all, the amount of stuff, how much of your home or commercial space, whatever it is functional. Is the bathroom working? Is the toilet working? Is the
Oh.
plumbing working?
Oh,
Are you taking your trash out to be disposed of, or is it piling up in your house?
that's
If you
bad.
stop using your toilet,
Where are you going? Oh,
yeah. So
Yeah.
and now I'll stop
Wow.
there.
is that
There's-
level 5?
That's level 5.
That has
And
to
there may be animals, and sometimes you don't even know where the cat is
Oh,
in the house.
that's so sad.
Wow.
And that whole thing is sad because you know that people that choose to live like that are not okay.
Yeah,
There's a
they're not
trauma
okay.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So behind all of that, something has happened in their life,
Yeah.
and it is a trauma.
Now, were you a criminal justice person in school? No. This is where I was like, wait, you just chose to buy this company? Like, what were you doing before?
Marketing and communications, mostly in
Of course.
healthcare. I
Interesting.
dress like this every day.
Was there any tie-in? Like, I'm in healthcare and I talked to this one person, you're like, interesting, and then it was like a seed planted? Or what was the like, I'm in healthcare, I'm in marketing and communications, and now I clean up bodily fluids from crime scenes?
But you don't clean up the body.
No,
I used to.
You
I-
did, so
I
you've
was
done
in the
it.
field in the beginning. I did it all.
But you bought the company, or did
So-
you guys start it?
Let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We're like, tell
I'm
me
sorry.
everything.
That's okay, because
Yeah.
this is important for
Yeah, yeah,
anyone that's thinking, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So one day, my husband sent me a text on a Friday that said, I'm officially laid off. He was a national vice president for an international ambulance transportation company.
Oh, wow.
corporate exec.
Wow.
I was at a healthcare career college as the
Wow.
marketing and community relations person. And I sent him a text back that said, guess what? So am I. I'm cleaning out my desk.
No.
Wait, you were both
That same day, within the
Same
first
day.
hour, Friday morning.
You were let go
Wow.
both. Unknown. Neither of you saw it coming.
Well, yeah, correct.
I mean, like maybe there was writing on the wall, but like
Not for me. For
Yeah.
him, there had been a little, it really wasn't him. But when you're at the top,
You kinda know.
politics.
yeah, you kind of know.
But
know.
wow.
Okay,
wow.
talk about a life altering day. You go, okay, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what do? You go home.
And we had 2 sons in college at the time.
Oh my.
And we didn't even go home yet. We didn't know what to do. We were stunned. So we met at Wahoo's Fish Tacos at
Well,
Park
that's
Meadows.
where that's where
That
you should
is where you go.
That is where you go when
I
you
see a lot
when
of
your
therapists
life-
there
Yeah.
with their clients.
When your life
Yeah.
is turned upside down at Wahoo's.
So we sat
Oh my
outside
gosh.
and we were just in shock.
Yeah, that is so wild.
But looking back, you're like, whoa, of course
That was the
happened
best
that way.
thing
You
that
know,
ever happened.
And when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So we chose at that point in our lives, I was in my early 50s, he was in his late 50s, and we knew that he was not going to find a job that paid him what he
Right.
deserved to be paid at that point in his life.
Yeah.
So we ended up looking at franchises because you get a little quicker start, you get
Yeah.
support training. I became a franchise broker, so did he, and then we bought a printing franchise. He ran that
Wow.
in the South Glen area. So I continued to be a franchise broker. And you know how a real estate agent connects you with
Right.
properties? I connected people with franchises.
So you became the broker. Like,
Uh-huh.
what do you have to do to become a franchise broker?
I trained. I went to a
Okay.
training.
So-
right.
Wow. No, not a specific franchise that you were just like
No,
any
I
franchise.
was independent.
Yeah.
Some are like,
Cool.
there are some that are brand specific. I
Yeah.
was not captive by anyone. I was
Right.
part of an association, but I could choose to represent any brand or not represent
Was it
any
IFA?
brand. No, well, no, IFA is the International Franchise Association.
Right.
And most of all of these different other associations and brands belong
Belong to
there.
there. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
This was called the Franchise Brokers Association.
Wow.
In Florida.
Who even knew there was
Yeah.
such a thing?
Not
yeah.
us before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long story short, I
Wow.
discovered Bio One and was representing it to potential buyers.
Oh,
to
you
my
were trying to
clients.
sell somebody on this.
Yes.
Okay.
And I realized that fit me because and us. I say us
Right.
because
Explain.
Greg and me. Greg and I are very mission minded. We like to help people. We like to make a difference. And when we discovered that we could do that
Right.
and support our family,
You're like, I'm in.
I'm
Well,
in.
And
But no,
you both of you ambulance and healthcare.
Mhm.
Did any of that have anything
Yes,
to do
it
with
has
where you're
to-
like, okay, we're
Mhm.
helping people and we're somewhat going back into the field with what we know. But
with
you
the
were
long
at
dot
levels,
connection.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were at levels in healthcare that it wasn't really like you were the ones. He wasn't driving the ambulance, and
Right.
you
We weren't patient care.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was also marketing and then other things as well. But the Denver franchise was sold out, already sold.
Oh.
So I got to know that franchisee, long story short, and they decided to sell and she went to the corporate office.
Oh.
So that's where we come in. We also had just launched into a restoration franchise by the same founder. So until last month,
Yeah. When you sold that.
we
Oh,
own 2
wow, that's
franchises in home services, so
Wow.
to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was water, fire, mold, that kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
we recently sold that. And I just love this business
Yeah.
because people, as I was describing, the people that we serve need help. We have recently launched into drug testing and decontamination because I'm here to
Wild.
tell you fentanyl's not going anywhere.
Okay.
No.
And yesterday, remember I told you last week we got a weird package delivered here?
Yes,
We
yes.
got it.
Yesterday we
one.
got another one. I called the sheriff's department. They came yesterday. We got this weird package. It wasn't addressed to us.
It was returned to sender as if we sent it out, but
Yeah.
some weird
So
sketchy.
some
we
weird
don't need to
sketchy
be saying
thing.
names.
Yeah, we don't
They
know
may
the
come
names.
for us.
We don't
No,
know the
the-
names.
Of
you-
yeah.
Do you know what was in it? Or did
They came last week's package. Jules, who's an esthetician here, said it looked like steroid. It was liquid. Yesterday, the package that came was little 20 vials of white powder.
Oh, and I could have tested it, by the way. That
I-
machine's sitting right in
Well,
my
it's
office.
funny
I
because they said they were going to test it, but they were in a vial that required a syringe.
But there was
So
only powder.
he couldn't test it, so he had to bring it to the lab.
And I was
I
like,
know, but I wouldn't
Cheryl
have
could have
wanted to
tested
open
it.
it. I'm like,
That's true. No, you did
Yeah.
the right thing there.
Yeah.
Well, last week we found 2 kilos of cocaine at a site we were cleaning up a death and called the police.
which is wild. I mean, yeah, the drug
The
Wow.
drug thing is big.
is big. It's big.
And
yeah,
it's dangerous. And I mean, we could talk about that for an hour.
I know.
And the kids think they even have Skittles
oh.
fentanyl. They call them Skittles. They're made to look like candy. And
And she said Candyman because in these 2 packages, it had weird wrapped plastic things with vials, but then there are 2 pieces of candy.
We know too much.
We know too much. This
Oh,
is, you know what?
my
Our
goodness.
podcast is going to transition next week to a true crime podcast.
I got stories.
Yeah, there's 2
Okay.
pieces of candy taped to the package. So it's not the outside of the package, but inside, but super weird. Sheriffs took it.
Good.
They're testing it. And I was like, well, now we know what to look for because it's the same exact box every time. Comes to the USPS, good old USPS, delivering it.
It's crazy.
So yesterday it was like the excitement of our day that we had the sheriffs
Yeah.
here and they were testing for whatever
Yeah.
the stuff was in here, but they couldn't test it. Yeah, super crazy. Your job is so interesting. I do love the aspect of how much it allows you to help the people that you come in contact with, like the families of hoarders or a family after a suicide, and that there's an aspect there that you can really go in. I mean, do you guys have therapists on your
Yeah.
team or
No, bio companies don't really do that, but we have relationships
Yeah.
with
organizations. There are a lot of nonprofits out there
That's true.
and therapists and such, so that there are resources
yeah,
for them.
for them,
Absolutely.
which is great. Okay, so our topic though that I really want to dive in, because this is where you and I just kept connecting.
Yes.
Everything we had in common.
scary, isn't it?
It was very
It's
scary.
terrifying.
It's just
One
like-
of you is a lot, you know? And there's 2.
I
Two
know
is
she
twice
is.
the fun.
Oh, you meant one of us is. Okay.
One of you's a lot.
Just
The other
one.
one.
Put us together.
It's her. Yeah. So confidence, you and I talk about how and I'm going to say at our age, because we're the same age.
Yes.
At our age, I feel like we have this level of confidence that bring it on. You want me to do this type of business? I can do it. You want me to start a co-working space? Done. You want me to start, I don't know, I'm going to drive trucks, but they'll be driverless. I could sleep in it. And
No,
so
thank you.
I could do that. But we have the confidence to do things that we're not always qualified for. What did that cross your mind ever? Like, I'm not qualified to start this business?
Absolutely. What in the world do I think business do I have doing something like this that is dangerous to life and health?
Which is a
That's
good
an OSHA
point.
term.
That's an OSHA term.
I know OSHA.
She knows OSHA.
Yeah.
We heard her talking chemistry yesterday. We're like,
Yeah.
dang, talking.
HB 202.
Yeah, HB 202. She knows Taylor's organic chemistry. Finally, is paying off.
Took it 3
Oh,
times.
Oh, hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
It took me a second. One of our secret chemicals. Yes.
Secret chemical. I learned I should buy more hydrogen peroxide to clean with.
Get rid
so
of that
great.
bleach, girl.
Get rid of the
My
bleach.
neighbor used to clean with straight Everclear.
What's that?
It's like
Alcohol?
it's alcohol, but it's like a really, really, really high alcohol.
Wait, was this the Russian neighbor?
No, he
Oh.
would just probably drink it
Yeah.
instead of clean with it.
Do I clean or do I drink?
Drink
Yeah.
it. Wait, they cleaned with
It was my
Everclear?
distilling neighbor. He's super smart. He's
Oh,
a head
he made his
distiller in Kentucky now,
He
and
made
he's like
his
the
own.
youngest one. Like he's brilliant, has like this chemical mind, and so he would just clean his whole house with Everclear, just bottles of
'Cause
Everclear.
does it smell?
Not really. It's just like it's fairly pure alcohol. Like,
Wow.
which is why it's terrifying when, like, in college, I was like, the only time I've ever had this is like drinking it. And he's like, oh my gosh, you should never put this in your body. Like,
You're like, oops, too late.
but yeah,
Um,
so hydrogen peroxide, HB202.
Yeah, they were talking chemistry terms yesterday, and I was like,
Yeah.
beep, bop, beep, bop,
She's
boop, bop,
brilliant.
beep, bop.
But it's probably been, I mean, how long have you had the business?
Almost 8 years.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Almost
like,
8 years.
you've probably learned so much.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you knew what HB202 is now, but ask you 8 years ago, he'd be like, beep, boop,
It took
beep,
her
boop,
3
beep, boop.
times taking
You know
organic
what?
chemistry.
You know what? Go community college. They saved me.
Wait, what?
I finally passed my organic chemistry class by
Oh.
going to a community college because it wasn't
After.
400 students.
I will applaud you for community colleges. I'm on the foundation board at
Yeah.
Arapahoe Community College,
Oh, I didn't know.
and I love their mission and what they're doing for
Yeah.
people in the
Yeah.
community who may not be able to attend a university
Or don't want to.
or don't want to. Yes. So yes.
You attended
Oh.
for 5 years.
I didn't
at
want to. I didn't want
CSU.
to. I
You
didn't want to. I didn't want to.
I didn't want to pay it, but let's go on another subject.
You keep bringing it up.
Confidence.
Confidence. She has the confidence.
Have the
now.
confidence.
Yeah. So where do you feel like in your life you've developed confidence along the way?
It took me most of my life to develop confidence.
Really?
And frankly, that came because we own this business and I learned a lot of new stuff. The hardest test I've ever taken in my life was the state of Colorado test to become a certified meth remediation
Oh, wow.
worker supervisor.
A meth remediation. You had to take a test for
What
that.
does that mean?
Oh, you take classes. So the state of Colorado regulates meth decontamination.
Ugh.
So if your house has meth in it, you can't just clean it up yourself.
Wow.
Wow.
And in fact, you can't even go in it. Only a certified decontamination person like me and
clean
and
it
some
up.
of my crew, and then the person who tests for it, who's also certified to clean it up. I believe
Wow.
fentanyl will get there.
Wow.
But yes, I mean, I had to learn things, and I'm on like this perpetual student now,
I love it.
because
That's
now
cool.
I'm studying all this drug stuff.
But
and
were
I'm
you not that
educating.
way when you were younger?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Really?
I did
that's
not have
interesting.
confidence
was.
growing up.
Oh, I didn't have confidence growing up.
Oh, what? So what?
But like, have you always been a learner? Like you always were
Oh,
always
yes,
to
yes.
learn.
But I didn't have confidence.
Always, even as a kid.
No.
You don't
Okay.
think you did?
You know what's weird? I always say I had unwarranted confidence.
That's still
What do you
confidence.
mean
mean,
by that?
Like junior high, I had headgear.
She literally wore
braces.
headgear to school.
I had to wear it to school.
and I did too, but did I?
You didn't have to wear it.
They
No,
said
the
as a 20,
orthodontist
it'll go
today.
faster if you do.
Yeah,
Like,
as if.
and she's like, I have to.
I think we were told we had
But
to.
you're
And I had
saying
the kind that went
unwarranted,
around.
so you're wearing
Like I
that.
was the dorkiest person, but then I hung around with people who were like cool.
I can't believe I hung out with you.
I know I can't either. Actually, looking back. Oh my gosh, I was just
So
like the
you were
dorkiest,
confident.
ugliest. No,
You're
I
saying
think I was just
unwarranted.
oblivious. I think I was just like I'm okay to hang out with them.
Hmm.
I wasn't bullied. But I don't remember. I wasn't good in sports. I mean, girls didn't play a lot of sports
No.
back in my day. We only had rocks and sticks and stuff.
Well, part
You know
of
the
my,
hula hoops with the sticks.
Yeah, we rolled them down the street.
I know.
Yeah.
Part of my challenge was I came from a family with not a lot of money and a home with domestic violence.
Mm.
And I blame myself for that as a kid. I have since gotten therapy.
You blamed yourself as a kid. Wow.
I blame myself
'Cause
for
you
all
weren't-
of that.
yeah.
Mhm.
You didn't keep peace.
Right. And I used to be this, believe it or not, I was the peacemaker.
Wow.
Wow.
Of course, it didn't work because
Yeah.
still got violent.
Or
but
how many siblings?
one?
You're older or younger?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
You were the
I'm the oldest
protector.
as well. And I wasn't the peacemaker as much as I wasn't ever a rebel. I was trying to always be the good kid. And in school, I was always like, I'll pass
Oh.
out the paper.
Same here.
Yeah,
Teacher's pet.
teacher's pet.
Mhm.
But I was at home. I I hate to say because
Say it.
Dad will say I knew it. I was the one with sass.
We're not tough.
What were we saying yesterday?
We're not
Sass.
There's a
You
group
have
called
to be my sister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the sass
Sass?
level.
Yeah, I
But-
still do.
But and where'd you grow up, by the way?
Ohio,
Okay.
the country,
Okay. Is it like Rust Belt or what is that a thing?
Corn Belt.
Corn Belt. There's a Rust Belt too. It's like Appalachia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just listened to Hillbilly Elegy and Demon Copperhead, which are all like
I
Ohio,
watched
Kentucky.
Hillbilly.
Oh, is it a
Hillbilly.
movie?
Yes, it's on
Oh, I didn't know
Netflix.
that.
Oh, it's a show.
Yes.
I read the book, but he grew up in Ohio and then
Yes,
like went to
Southern
Kentucky
Ohio.
a lot, and
Mhm.
it's a similar, yeah.
Mhm.
But okay, so you
And I grew up with no father, very poor, welfare, and then grew up. I mean,
interesting.
yeah, you kind of just were like, whatever. I didn't have a lack of confidence until I was junior high and high school, but I feel like that's kind
Oh.
of normal.
Do you think it was scrappy and resilient turned confident later?
Yes.
Interesting
Wh-
thought.
Yeah.
Because I'm like the fact that you have similar
Yeah.
upbringings and then
Uh-huh,
became similar. You are both scrappy and resilient people, and now
Uh-huh.
you'd call that confident.
Huh.
But
Well,
maybe back then you
confidence, I would
weren't
say-
confident, but you had situationally to
Yes.
be
We
scrappy
overcame a
and
lot.
resilient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we raised ourselves. Like I
Yeah.
raised I was at home. Now they call it latchkey kids, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade by myself, getting my sister ready for school. And I was in 4th grade, taking her to school. We'd walk to school together. So that on that level, maybe it was confidence that I survived. I could survive. I'm like a chihuahua in the wild. You could put me out in the wild and I'd survive.
The best analogy for you ever, because you are a chihuahua, but it's like chihuahua in the wild. And after 3 decades, she came out of the wild with her little puppies in her mouth, and she's like, "I'm feral, but I want a luxurious hotel."
And that's why I'm so diva-ish now. I'm like, no,
Making up for lost
yes.
time.
I'm like, no, I'm not putting up
But
with any
I'm
of that.
not like that. And so this is where I get to do a contrast,
Yes.
because I grew up not having
No.
to do any of that.
No, you grew up with 2 parents, loving home,
The
mom was
audacity.
sass.
Yeah. You always used to say, I should have made life harder for you.
I should have
You
made life
literally
harder
say that
for
to
her.
me all the time. Like, you should have made life
I
harder.
know.
But you and Dad both came from just not a lot, difficult situations, things like that. So then you both were like, we're not going to have that for our kids.
Which
And you
I do
swung
worry
the
about
other
that.
way.
I do worry when parents raise kids that don't have a lot of adversity. What will happen when they get older? Will they have the resilience and stick to itness, tenacity, grit, chihuahuaness,
Resilience.
Yeah, resilience.
Yeah, maybe we stopped saying chihuahuas are annoying, but they're resilient.
They're resilient.
They're
feisty.
feisty.
But yeah, I do think so. I always say confidence is something we build over time. You have to stop and collect the little shreds that get caught in your pant legs like weeds when you walk through the field.
Okay.
Like the little burrs that get caught in your socks. Like you do something in life that's hard and you overcome it. And we keep going. We don't stop to collect that, to go, wait, I overcame that, or I did this hard thing. I was really smart and I passed this test. I'm going to collect that little piece of confidence and put all these together. And pretty soon you have this body of evidence that I can do anything because I've overcome all these little hard things.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're little things.
That describes my last 12 years.
Yeah.
Interesting. And there's a lot of backstory to, stuff that happened before then, but truly being the business owner, seeing that I could build a team, getting involved in chambers, more than one,
Interesting.
getting involved, winning awards, my business winning, I should say Greg and my business winning awards. And all of a sudden I just realized, hey, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was asked to do this and asked to do that. And even recently, sometimes I'll be asked to do something thinking I'm not qualified for that.
Right.
Wait a minute. Look at your shelf in your office with all those awards on it.
Wow.
I don't do it for the awards.
Right. But
But
those
someone
are,
acknowledge it.
yes.
Those are the weeds that you pick up, I guess.
Yeah. Or totems. I mean,
Or-
think about a totem pole. What is a totem
Yes.
pole? It's physical evidence of battles won,
That's right.
stories to be told. And all those awards are stories to be told of how we did that. What did we do that year that was great? How I overcame that and survived in business. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Gina, when you and I, not too long ago, stood in the library
Yeah.
down the hall and talked even deeper and connected even deeper, I was almost in awe of you. And actually I was, because knowing what you're doing now
Yeah.
and what you've done over your own business, and for you to tell me that you have some background issues like I did,
Yeah.
I never would have guessed.
And I said how sometimes when we hide things we're ashamed of, like for a while, I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell people I didn't go to college.
We talked about that.
And it's like, I didn't go to college. I took art.
I tried not to go to college.
I wouldn't let her.
I went to college, but
actually,
I,
I
didn't
would
finish
have
my
let
degree.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
No.
I was going to say I would have let her drop out, but Dad
Dad
wouldn't
didn't.
have.
No.
Yeah, I didn't go to, I went to community college, took like Spanish class 3 times.
Wait. You had to go around the room and say what your name was. I was like all
You
4
were
of her
5.
children were born at this point. So
Yeah.
you're in Spanish class
Dad and
at
I
ACC. I would
took
go
it
to
at
the
ACC.
kids class and bop around while they took Spanish classes. Maybe I
And
was younger.
Professora Mora.
And Profesora Mora would go around and you're supposed to say,
Introduce
Me
yourself.
llamo Taylor. And she's like, ho, I'm going to make up my own Spanish name. And she just goes, Me llamo Blanca. which means I am white.
White.
My name is white. My name is
yes.
white.
Blanca is the word white, but it's also a person's name.
Well,
Is it not?
No, Bianca is a name.
No.
have you met a Blanca?
Yes, I have met Blanca.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have. Ask Maria.
I believe.
Ask our sweet Maria.
I
She
But
will
believe
I
tell
was
you.
just dying because
And if
also
your name
the
is Blanca, I want to know.
the professor's like, wait, but no, what's your name? Like,
And yeah, no, he just goes, he wore, which dad always teases me when I wear my glasses. And then I go, wait, was it like this? Try to look. He goes, you look like Professora Mora. 'Cause he would look through his glasses and wrinkle his nose. And he went, your name is White? And I said, sí, me llamo Blanca. Sí.
teacher's
Do
pet.
you want me to pass out the papers?
I'll collect him after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
So
I-
anyway, but I did go to community
Yeah.
college for that.
Yeah.
And then I took a management course somewhere along
But
the
this
line.
is
when I was-
later in life after
Yeah.
your children are
Oh,
born.
yeah, after-
like
yeah.
it's like,
I had
Yeah.
ain't nobody got time for college.
but
when
I
you're
never
raising 4
felt
kids.
shameful
I-
telling people you didn't go to college
No.
because I'd go to college. People were like, oh, did your parents go here? I'm like, no, my dad went to K-State. My mom didn't go. They're like, okay. Like it never felt
Yeah.
like a shameful thing because I'm like, but look at you now.
Well, that's the thing. I think as I got older, when I was younger, it's kind of like the thing when you're young and you're a manager and you feel like, oh, I'm too young to be a manager and I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. And then you get older and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so old. I'm not relatable anymore. And I used to joke saying you've got 2 years when you're really good.
And you're not too
and then
young.
you're not too
and
young,
you're not too old.
But once I got older, I was like, I don't need to go to college. And part of it was once my children graduated from college and I realized that I knew more than them, I was like, I don't need to go to
She
college.
doesn't know more than us. She knows about
I don't know
more-
what PHP 202 is.
It's HB202.
See, I don't know that either.
2 parts hydrogen peroxide, 2 parts oxygen.
My kids know more about Excel than I do because of college.
See?
But I've learned a lot more since.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no.
But I say you are the Slumdog Millionaire.
I am
You are street smart.
scrappy like a chihuahua.
Like think feral Chihuahua.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to stop here to say, not just sweet smart.
Yeah, we haven't
I
done that
haven't
about
had
you
lunch
yet.
yet. Yeah.
What house did you clean up before this?
Whoa!
None. My crew did. Thankful for them. I'm going to pause a second here. When I look at what you have built here, I am not at the Village as a business owner because there was an office space.
Right.
I didn't quite get the office I wanted yet.
No, not yet. We're
But-
still trying to
but
get
that's
some people
okay.
out.
I'm at the Village because of the community that the two of you have created.
Thank you. It is. That is.
A college degree won't give you that. Nothing
No.
against college degrees. You have done something in your life and you have taken all your life lessons. You have taken your marketing business, all those things you learned
Yeah.
through time and created a thriving community. I love being here.
Oh,
My crew likes it here.
this episode sponsored by
Bio One.
I won.
So back
no,
to
and
the
I, and
confidence
you know what?
thing.
And I
Thank
do
you.
think
Yes.
What we
that
mean is
is-
thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm great with money too.
You should see my cheese enchiladas that I make.
Side note,
Side
because that's
note.
an inside joke. You're supposed to say, as women, you always like, oh, no, I'm
That's
not that
because
good at it, or I'm
this-
not this or whatever. You're just supposed to say thank you
and
add one more thing that you're good at. So
Yeah.
it's like thank you, and I'm handy around the house.
yes, whenever women get a compliment, we usually put it down.
Downplay.
We downplay it.
I used to.
Yeah,
I've
we
learned
used
to
to.
do
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Now I'm going to add
and
you should have some of my salsa and I can it so that it's good in 6 months.
I mean,
Amen.
I cannot wait. Yes, and that is one thing when the girls were younger and they would talk bad about themselves. They would say, "Oh, I feel so ugly today," or "My hair looks so bad." I would say, "Quit talking about my friend that way."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, women, we need to start calling out when our friends talk bad about themselves. We have to say, "Quit talking about my friend that way." And when you get a compliment, you say, "Thank you," and add one more thing to
I'm
it.
great at Excel.
I didn't say lie.
Oh
said
my god,
say something.
I am actually bad at Excel.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So,
what
But my
did you
first two
use
were
it for?
real.
Yes.
I couldn't think of a third.
You know
one.
what Taylor would say? Thank you, and I am a math wizard.
I'm a math wizard.
good for you.
are.
I am not. So
Love
I will
that.
be
She
coming
is
to
a
you.
math wizard.
I love math.
Like she calculates things that are like percentages. People say that's 38% off, and she go, "Oh, do you mean $5.12?"
75 cents.
You do that
It's
in
like-
your head.
Yes, it's very weird.
Another
find it
thing,
weird,
can I
but-
add on confidence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to take away from your math wizardness. I'm in awe.
No, I feel
That's not
confident
me.
now. You can't take it away.
Another thing that helped my confidence So first of all, someone taught me to accept compliments
Yep.
years ago, so that's helped. I read a book called Girls Stop Apologizing.
Oh yeah, is
Oh,
that
yeah.
Jen?
Yes, I forget
It's a
her
girl
name.
wash your face follow up.
Girl
Girl
wash your face.
Girl wash your face.
Yeah.
Girl. I have stopped saying I'm sorry all the time. I have adapted
So good. Yeah.
her suggestions in that book.
Yeah.
It has helped my confidence because the things you say out loud,
Yeah.
your brain hears.
Yeah.
And it doesn't know the difference. If I
Right.
keep apologizing and saying I'm sorry,
Then what it's
I'm-
telling your narrative to your brain is
It-
that it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault.
well put. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I
that has
just
helped.
that is help. And I think also realizing in anything that we do, if you say yes to an opportunity, you will find a way to make it happen.
And
You
I've
will
been doing
surround
that.
yourself with people that are smart. You'll find the resources you need to make it happen. And I think women are less likely to do that. Most women will say, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not smart enough. I'm not qualified. I need to take a class first. I need to do this." And maybe taking a class, I'm not going to say that's not a good
We're
idea,
not saying that.
but say yes and then take the class.
I do this. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, how else does one get into the business that you guys are in? It's like you say yes, and then you surround yourself by people who are willing to strap on masks and go into places.
And
Ventilators. What
Oh.
are they called? Respirators.
Respirators.
full face respirators,
Full-face
half face
respirators.
respirators in 95. Yes.
I know that your crew has done a recent job when they have really clean shaven faces.
Yes. They have to
'Cause
shave their beards so it
the
seals on
first
their
time I met
face.
some, they had some scruff. And then the next time I was like, oh, your beard is gone. You must have been on a job.
Cheryl sent you for full face respirator training,
Yeah.
which I do. I do it by the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is weird to think you have to shave your facial hair to go do that.
Well, you have to get a good seal.
Yeah.
with the-
Grant could never work there because I don't like it when he
You-
shaves. I'm like, ooh, sorry. Fire him immediately.
Fire him
I
immediately.
want his beard. It's more important than a
It's
paycheck.
more important.
Yeah,
It's more important to me.
paycheck.
Rather be poor.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, when I always think of what do I attribute confidence to, it's I think just doing hard things and then keeping track of them.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
But you know what I haven't done is keep track as well as I should.
Yeah.
Even though I alluded to that earlier, when I look at all the trainings and all the certifications that I've gotten over the last more than 8 years, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
this
smart.
is my
It's-
degree right here.
It's like
Right.
climbing
Yeah.
a mountain. You climb a mountain and you're like, wow, this is so hard. What is this like? This is, and then you just turn around and you're like, wow, look how far I've come. And I love doing that with Ophelia on hikes because she's crying the entire time. Like, I hate hiking. And I'm like, look how far you've come. But that's what you've taught me is you're like, I always tell you, we can freak out when we look back and like that thing we're worried is going to happen has happened. So it's like, oh, I'm worried no one's going to fill, these offices aren't going to get filled. I'm like, if you can name a time where we actually have gone this long without someone getting an office or where this hasn't worked for us before, then we can freak out.
Right.
But you
it
look back and you're like, oh yeah, it's always worked
it's
out.
always worked out.
So no
I
freaking
do
out.
think collecting them, and I just think we tend to keep track of our failures. So, we can all recall times that we've screwed up, we've, dropped the
or
ball.
mean things
we-
people have said about us.
Yeah, mean things
You
people
remember those
say.
more.
You always
Mhm.
remember those, but you don't remember all the times. And I think that goes back to even girls. When you're raising girls, I remember thinking when you go to the grocery store with young girls, you walk down the aisle of the grocery store and you see magazines and all these women in like hardly any clothes. They're all beautiful, airbrushed, but beautiful.
Yes.
Girls see that image 1,000 times a day on TV and magazines, now on Instagram every second. You as a parent have to make sure they see not counter images, but you have to counter that more
How?
than 1,000 times by telling them, look how smart you are. You're so
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
You look amazing. You're amazing. Did you see how hard you tried on that and you succeeded? I saw on Instagram some reel that the grandma was saying, I'm proud of you. And the mom says, no, we don't say,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
proud
it's
of
like
you.
millennial parenting.
Millennial
Yeah.
parent. Don't say, I'm proud of you. Say, you did
You've
something.
worked hard.
You've worked hard.
Good job.
Yeah, but it's like you have to counter the thousands of messages
Yeah.
young girls and kids are seeing every day
Mhm.
by telling them something that's confidence boosting because there's so many. And so I think it's the same thing with ourselves. We're constantly berating ourselves or comparing ourselves to somebody else.
Mhm.
And so those are things that just keep chipping away. We need to pull out our long list of things that we did that were like, dang, that was really smart. Or, wow, look at how tough I was that I survived this. Or, I went through a divorce and was a single parent and look at me, I'm surviving. And, every month you should make that list and say, look, I paid my rent and I paid my car payment, or I put my kids through school, or things that just remind you of how great you are, because we forget so fast.
And we don't give ourselves enough credit.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
That we're smarter.
This is me saying the trolley's on its way.
Oh, I do see it way down there.
I do see it way down there.
Cheryl's like,
Did you
wow,
see-
they are on drugs.
I was pretending to be on drugs with you.
She's like, what are you looking at?
I like the
I
color.
see it. Did you push the
No,
button? Well, it
I didn't.
doesn't come without pushing the
I
button
just-
to call
It's
it.
far away. You know, I can always see the lights on the train. Oh,
We're-
it's coming.
We're
It's
going to
coming.
jump on the trolley. Even though, I just
Yeah,
heard it.
I just
heard
I
it.
did hear
I heard
it.
it.
Ding, ding. We're going to jump on the trolley, and we're going to move to our last segment, which is our favorite
Things.
And this is where we all share something that's our favorite this week or favorite of all time. You know, whatever it is, book, podcast, chapstick.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You better go first.
I better go first. She's going to take the
Oh,
mic.
I'm gonna blow,
and then you
I'm gonna
can go.
blow everyone's
She's gonna
minds.
blow our minds, and she's really excited about it. Yeah. Mine's last week I did the fish doorbell, and so
If you
staying
didn't
in
see that,
line
yeah.
with internet animals.
Not
My
large owls.
current don't believe it. If you see a lady named Jenny holding a giant white owl, it's fake, and she knows it. She's not trying to pretend it's real. I know. She got you good.
She got me
You
good.
didn't have your glasses on.
Yeah, I did. I put them on. I was like, dang, it's huge.
Oh.
It's huge.
My current favorite thing that I've been telling everyone about is a little penguin chick, an emperor penguin chick named Pesto. And so if you look up, because there's been a big hype about the pygmy hippo Mudang. And I don't understand her hype. If anyone's seen Parks and Recreation, this is like a little Sebastian moment for me where everyone's like, the mini horse. Oh my gosh, I love him. And this one guy's like, I just don't get it. It's like just a mini horse. I don't get the pygmy hippo. I don't get it. I'm like, it was born. There's other ones being born. What's this one? Pesto, the emperor penguin chick. So emperor penguins, for reference, are like this tall.
What is
okay?
that? 2 feet?
Yeah, about 2 feet
For
tall.
those
Maybe
listening.
two to 3 feet max. Probably 2 feet. The penguin chicks are normally like maybe a foot tall, and they're maybe like 10 pounds. Pesto is over 2 feet, or like he's about 2 feet. He's the same height as his parents, and he's 50 pounds.
So he's
Whoa.
going to be the giant owl that the
He's
lady was holding.
That's
It's
why I
gonna
was
be
like,
true.
maybe it's real.
It's going to be true. We're going to find out
He
that owl
weighs
is real.
as much as my 6-year-old, and he's a baby chick, but he looks like a chick because they still have the gray fuzzy
Love it.
fluff. And so everybody go look up Pesto, the emperor penguin chick, because the pictures of him next to other chicks or the pictures of him next to his parents are so cute.
Pesto the
He's
penguin.
Gigantic.
And
So,
if it says hashtag AI next to
it's
it,
not. He's at a zoo. It's real.
Okay.
He's at a zoo.
you saw it.
I saw it. I saw the zoo footage. I saw like news articles like in that about him at the zoo being born and how he's this anomaly.
Love it.
So that's
Okay.
my favorite
That's
thing.
our favorite
I
thing for the
never
week.
I leave work and don't educate myself whatsoever. I just like zone out with audiobooks. Call me crazy.
Call her crazy.
So she's always mad at me like, what are you
Learn some
learning?
business things,
I'm like,
girl.
I'm learning that pesto exists.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Okay, Cheryl.
Cheryl, what is your favorite thing?
Well, I'm going to share my favorite podcast to listen to.
Ooh, love it.
I listen to her almost every day. Her name is Mel Robbins.
Oh,
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
And
3,
I-
2, 1. Oh, sorry.
5, 4, 3, 2.
5, 4, 3,
The
2, 1.
5-second theory. I
yeah.
use it with anxiety.
Oh,
See?
Yeah. She gets so real and down and dirty on real life issues, brings in experts. She is so open.
yeah.
Like today I was listening to her talking about learning from our mistakes. And she was talking about her mistake was getting breast implants.
Oh, good.
And she shares
Interesting.
the story and she takes all that back around. And I have learned so many good applicable life tips from
Mm.
her.
I was going to say, I've listened to her podcast a few times, and I've heard people love the fact that she does talk about her failures.
Yes.
She's not trying to be pretentious, very, very down to earth.
and
I
wants
need to
help
listen
people.
to her again.
So I,
Yeah.
I really appreciate
What's the
listening to her.
podcast called? Do you know? Is it just Mel
The Mel
Robbins?
Robbins
Okay.
podcast.
Probably Mel
Yes.
Robbins show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to remember.
Hard to remember, but that's a good one.
So not
That's
sexy,
awesome.
not
no,
cool, but
I love it. I'm
but
always
it's
talking about
helpful
podcasts.
to
No,
me. Yes.
that's great.
So, okay.
Here she goes.
You might want to get some duct tape because your mind is going to be blown and you're going to need to stick it back together.
I have pink duct
duct tape.
Mhm.
Oh, I love it. You're going to need lots of it because there is a tool And I don't even know how I came across it, but I'm always kind of researching and listening to podcasts about an AI tool. And I'm like, whatever, another AI tool. This one is part of Google. So you're going to go to,
This isn't it.
oh no, this isn't it.
That says something about Wendy's.
Oh yeah, Wendy's
No,
McBroken.
no.
That's for another day.
It's on there.
But it's what'd you say? It's on here?
Just maybe have to scroll a little bit.
No,
Oh,
it's on here.
okay.
So it's part of Google, and it's called it's right over here, right there.
Nope,
Right.
that's us.
Oh, I see. This is where I have to actually put my
over
Professor
there,
Mora
yeah.
glasses on. Right there. Yeah, right here.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's called
Notebook.
Notebook LM.
Okay.
And I don't know what the LM learning
Module.
Machine.
learning model maybe, but
Learning
it's not an
machine.
LLM because it's Notebook LM learning model. Let's just call it that so you'll remember. But notebooklm.google.com. So it's part of Google. Now, I heard about it. You can upload, you can type in your URL, or you can, if you have a book, which, I didn't even bring it to do a shameless
I know, we
plug.
did it last week.
We did it last week,
We
but
did
I
it
was going to
last week.
shameless plug every week. But I took my book, the PDF of the book, so changing directions and starting from scratch.
You can find
and
it
I
on Amazon.
find it on Amazon or your favorite bookstore. And you upload the PDF into Notebook LM, and within 30 seconds, it's uploaded into there. And then you click a button that says, discuss the book. So you can say summarize, you can say give me questions to ask about this topic. So you might have a book that you want to
Teachers
discuss.
are going to have to really hone in on like kids' book reports.
Yeah. Okay. This one,
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out how to use this because what I did was I clicked discuss this. It created in less than 60 seconds a 15-minute podcast with two people
That sound they're
completely
AI
human.
voices. They sound completely human.
I don't
Oh
know.
my gosh.
I would
I
have
wonder
never
if
guessed.
I play it, will it?
We'll keep talking about it.
I
I'll
need
get
It's right
that.
here, right here.
I know,
It's
but
right
keep
there.
talking about it. I'll connect it to
Oh,
here.
to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So keep chatting.
So it's two people. What blew my mind was the very beginning of it. The podcast host uses language like,
Okay, you ready?
yeah, you have to play it because it's
You ever get that feeling like you've got this really cool idea, right? It's like simmering
I
on the
don't know
back
if you can
burner.
hear
You're
it.
excited about it. But then logic comes in. It's like,
Let
whoa,
us
whoa,
know if
whoa,
you're not
pump the
hearing
brakes.
this.
This happened to me with this vintage camper, right? It was like Robin's egg glue, chrome accents, the whole shebang. And I'm just like picturing myself like on the open road, weaned in my hair. And then bam, my brain's like, where are you going to park this thing?
this.
What
is an
about
AI
repairs? What if it breaks down in the middle of nowhere? Like
voice?
Mind blown.
determined to keep you on the
And then here
couch.
comes the woman.
It's amazing, isn't it, how that happens? Like you get these sparks of inspiration, these amazing
Isn't that
what
crazy?
ifs, and then we just let our
You ever get
fear,
that-
practicality,
And
just
they're
kind of bury
discussing
them
my
before they even
book,
get
and they
started.
talk about
Totally.
what Gina
Exactly.
Shrek says.
Which is why
Yeah.
It's
And it reminds
so
me of
crazy.
this book. Yeah, I think he's about to say, which is why I loved this book, Changing Directions and Starting from Scratch by
Yeah.
Gina Shrek. And you're like,
it-
wow.
I literally, you don't get to select the voices. It just picks these two voices. It's a male and a female voice, but their language, and she uses things like, oh yeah, you like she'll clear her throat.
Yeah.
It sounds like two people, and it's totally
Whoa.
AI generated to discuss that book. Now I could post it and say, oh, this was a fun. I'm just gonna say my mind was blown. This is AI, people. Hashtag AI.
Well, I don't
but
even think you have to
it's a
pretend
summary.
it's a thing. It's just like if you've been curious about reading my book, here's a great summary.
Here's a short summary, just telling you the.
You don't
talking
have
points.
to say, you have to pretend it was a podcast.
And you can do the same thing with a website. So
Yeah.
I'm going to test it today by just putting our URL and then saying, tell me about this website.
Yeah, and it's like
And
if
it
you're
will
curious
give
about
you
the
a
village,
summary of what
here's a
it
great
is.
summary.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
if
So
you're
my
curious
goodness.
about what we do at Bio One, here's a great
I
summary.
am going
Here's
to
the
do
summary.
that.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. And I think the thing that blew my mind was just how real. I mean, we're used to the AI. People make a bot on their website and it's them and it sounds like a
Hi,
robot.
let's chat.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
even is like, hello, let's chat.
Yeah.
My name is Gina. I mean, it doesn't move like a robot, but it's like,
But it
And then
sounds
it
like
goes
one.
It sounds
beep,
like one.
boop, beep, boop, recharging.
but this one, I lost that. And I was trying to explain to Dad. I was like, wait, you got to hear this.
But
He
I don't
didn't-
think
his
he's
mind-
conceptualizing
He didn't,
because
he
it
didn't get
sounds
excited.
so real.
I needed him to be more
It
excited.
sounds so real.
Yeah.
He did say weaned in my hair.
I caught
So-
that.
I just
Okay.
kept
Let that
kept
ride.
quiet.
But you know what?
that is how I can catch that it's AI.
Well, yeah, but aren't there times people would say
Mess up.
they mess up on
Yeah,
something?
because I'm like, it's not like you wrote a script and they pronounced
No.
wind weaned, but
I
I
he
was like-
does. He keeps saying he kept saying pole pole. So there's when we climbed Kilimanjaro years ago, there was the African saying for slowly is pole, POLE, with the little
pole. Did he say pole?
He
pole?
said one time he said pole, and I was like, oh, that's an AI flub error. But that was, and then he just kept saying pole.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, there's a sign that this is robotic. But he's it's reading it. But no, it was so
it's
good
crazy.
still. Yeah.
There's some great uses, because it can just be audio over a video on Instagram. It can be audio with a WAV file.
If I were in college, I would take every single paper they told me to read, white papers, boring stuff. I would upload it into that and I would say, give me a 15-minute audio
I
summary.
wonder what professors think
I
of that.
could
Because what's
listen.
wrong with that?
Yeah.
The whole point is they want you to read it and summarize it. What if you just read the summary and get really into it?
And it was, but you don't have to read it.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
I know.
So anyway,
So
super
that's
cool.
blowing her mind.
Yeah, blew my mind.
Notebook,
lm.google.com. Yeah, check it out, play with it. Tell me how you're using it because I loved it. I'm gonna find more ways to use it.
We'll be talking.
Yeah, we'll be chatting, or they will be chatting about it.
Huh.
You never know. Yeah, but until next week, this was a great week. Fun chatting with you, Cheryl.
I know.
Loved being here with
Always
the
a
two of
treat.
you.
So fun.
Oh
We
my
have to all
gosh,
jump
sorry.
back
I
on the-
scheduled you in a trolley Uber.
I asked for a trolley pickup.
Here comes blowing weaned. Weaned in my hair. Bye.
Never gonna joke about that now.
The wind.